The real evolution in love doesn't begin when we meet the right person. It begins when we stop blaming the wrong one. Avoidant and anxious partners often live in a loop of emotional blame. The anxious says, "You never open up." The avoidant says, "You always need too much." Two hearts trying to love, but both speaking through fear. The truth is, no one heals through blame. We heal through awareness. We evolve the moment we stop pointing fingers and start asking, what part of this is trying to teach me about myself? In every avoidant-anxious dynamic, there's a silent agreement. I'll blame you for my pain if you blame me for yours. It's an unconscious contract of fear. Both people think the other is the problem, but in reality, they're both reacting from their past. The anxious blames the avoidant for disappearing, but beneath that blame is a child who learned that love equals anxiety. The avoidant blames the anxious for overwhelming them, but beneath that blame is a child who learned that closeness equals danger. So blame becomes a shield. It protects us from looking inward. Because it's easier to say you hurt me than to ask, why does this hurt me so deeply? Blame is not evil. It's an emotional compass pointing to unhealed wounds. When we blame, we're really saying, this pain feels bigger than I can hold. The anxious one says, if you didn't pull away, I'd be okay. The avoidant says, if you didn't chase, I'd be safe. But both are wrong and both are right. They're wrong because healing never comes from control, but they're right because both are hurting. When you can see blame as an invitation to self-awareness, it loses its poison. You stop using it as a weapon and start using it as a mirror. Responsibility doesn't mean taking the blame. It means taking ownership of your emotional reality. The anxious learns, my fear of being left isn't caused by your silence, it's awakened by it. The avoidant learns, my need to withdraw isn't caused by your closeness. It's triggered by it. When you stop blaming, you reclaim your power. Because the moment you stop making your healing someone else's job, you start evolving. This is the shift from reacting through wounds to responding through awareness. It's the moment love stops being survival and becomes awakening. When both avoidant and anxious partners begin to wake up, something beautiful happens. The war ends. The anxious partner begins to pause before reaching out and asks, am I acting from love or from fear? The avoidant begins to stay present a few seconds longer and asks, am I pulling away for peace or out of panic? This is how evolution begins, not through perfection, but through awareness. Each small moment of awareness creates a new pattern of safety. And over time, what used to be chaos becomes calm. What used to trigger you now teaches you. That's when the relationship moves from unconscious attraction to conscious connection. How to stop blaming and start healing. There are 3 steps to shifting out of blame. 1. Witness the pattern. Notice when you want to defend, justify, or accuse. Pause. Breathe. Feel your body's response. That's your inner child asking to be seen. 2. Speak from awareness, not accusation. Instead of saying you never listen, say I feel unseen when I share. Instead of saying you always run away, say I get scared when there's distance. You stop attacking the person and start revealing your truth. That's intimacy, the kind that heals. 3. See the humanity in each other. Your partner's reaction isn't against you. It's for their safety. And when you can see that, compassion replaces judgment. Blame divides. Compassion connects. That's how relationships evolve. Avoidant and anxious love stories were never meant to be tragedies. They were designed to be awakenings. The anxious one teaches love to breathe. The avoidant one teaches love to listen. Together, they show love how to balance. But that only happens when both stop fighting for who's right and start remembering why they met to grow. The evolve begins when the avoidant stops saying, you're too much, and the anxious stops saying, you're too cold. When they both say, I see my pain reflected in you, and I choose to heal it, not project it. That's where the war ends. That's where love becomes conscious. And that's where the evolution begins. Because healing doesn't happen when you change your partner. It happens when you see your reflection through them and love it back into wholeness. You don't evolve. by winning the argument. You evolve by awakening from it.